Okay, I have a 24-minute drop set workout. I have weights over here. I have a 30 pound, 15 pounds, 10 pounds, and 5 pound weights. All to use, we'll do some lower body and then work some upper body, and we're gonna have some fun. So 10 seconds, so it's 50 seconds work, again, 10 seconds rest. So we're gonna start in our rocker with our heavy weight. So put that in. Got heavy weight. We're gonna find our rocker, toes in, heels away, 30 pounds, rocking back. So as I do this, I'm pushing my shins out, like I have a piece of paper under my shins, and I'm trying to rip it apart. My heels try and stay down, my toes stay together, my hips stay back. Have a nice tilt in my pelvis to push my hips back and engage my lower back as I do this. If you feel too much in your hip flexors and your quads, you have to adjust how much you're tilting your pelvis, your hips, making sure we're lining up the glutes and not the quads. And using your breath when it gets a little bit tough. Now we're going to grab that smaller weight, going down 15 pounds. So from 30 pounds down to 15. Go again, rock it out, same thing. Find pressure pushing through the outside edge of the shin, heels down, on the right, tilt in your here to make sure you're building here and not in the front here. And don't forget to breathe. Make sure your shoulders stay down, your neck stays kind of loose, head straight, building up those glutes. This is getting tiring already. If you need to, you tuck your toes, still keeping your heels away, toes in while you do this. We don't want straight feet, we want like kind of toes in, heels away. Okay, no weight this time. So your drop set, third round in the rocker. Again, spreading that piece of paper apart, finding our glutes here, making sure we're not pinching in the hip flexors, making sure our quads aren't burning, because that's not the area we're trying to work. We're trying to work our glutes, we're trying to work our back, trying to work our hamstrings. You can go as slow or as fast as you want here. It's up to you. It's pushing your hips to the wall behind you as you do this. Shoulders down, neck relaxed. Check yourself every time, because those shoulders tend to like to creep up. All right, now we're gonna go to standing. Grab the heavy weight, and we're gonna do the heavy weight in our squat. So our squat, we're gonna make sure we're on our balls of our feet, toes down, outside edge of the foot is pushing out, same like you did with the shin. Trying to rip that piece of paper apart, and our hips are going back, our ankles are opening, our knees are going out, and our hips are going back. Staying a nice neutral spine. We're not here. Now that nice curvature in the lower back, building up that lower back and those glutes and those hamstrings. If you feel this in your front side, quads, hip flexors, adjust your pelvic tilt. If at any point it gets too much with any of these weights, you can put it down and do no weight. No shame. We don't want anybody getting hurt. Lighter weight, 15 pounds. These are just my weights. 30 pounds is quite a bit for me. So if you want to do like 20, 10, nothing, or 10, 5, nothing, that is on you. Squat it out again, pushing the hips back, staying light on the heels or off if you really want. But make sure the big toe stays down, making sure we're trying to push out. laterally with our feet, like we've got a piece of paper under there, trying to rip it apart. Pushing the hip back, knees open, ankles open, light on the heels. Lower back should be lit, glutes should be lit, quads, not so much. No hip flexors, no quads, all backside. All right, body weight. Squat. All right, plant those feet. Usually about a hip width apart is great. And here we can really either rep it out really fast, or we can slow it down and really focus on pushing those hips back to the wall behind us. So really focusing on pushing that butt back, engaging the glutes. You're pressurizing through the floor, through the pad of the foot, trying to rip that piece of paper apart and pushing our hips back. Try and get as much length here as you can. Sometimes it helps to extend the arms, especially when you don't have a weight. It's nice to kind of do this here. My lower back is lit. Quick drink. All right, let's pick up that heavy weight again. We'll do a drop in. So plant the foot, heel light. Hold on to that weight, and we're just going to drop back. Okay. So again, light on the heel, pressurizing to the pad of the foot, keeping the big toe down. Pushing to that outside blade edge of the foot, and our hip goes to the wall behind us. No turning, no pushing out to the side, just straight back. Head stays over this loading leg. Because I have a pretty heavy weight, a little bit more weight on this back leg, just to make sure I don't fall over. But make sure the glute, that hamstring, is lit up. You're working that. If you're working in the hip flexor, change how your pelvis is tilted. So from the side, lightweight, 15 pounds. So we want to make sure we're back here. We're in the glute, we're in the hamstring, we're not in the quad, we're not in the hip flexor. So if you feel it here, adjust either more tilt or a little bit less until you find yourself in the glute. Again, check on your shoulders, check on your neck, make sure you're not too tight up there. I just lost my balance. These as well, you can go slow or as fast as you want with each movement. Do a lot of reps or do very little and slow it down. So as long as you're pressurizing through the pad of the foot into that glute and hamstring and the lower back. All right, body weight on this side. So plant the foot, big toe down, on the outside edge of the foot. So this is the outside edge of the foot. You want to keep that arch nice and strong, the inside ankle bone nice and high. And we're going to rep it out here. Pushing that hip back, no twisting, no pushing out to the side, no hip flexors, no quads, just strictly glute, hamstring, lower back. And if yours aren't lit yet, that's okay. As long as you're going through the work. Pushing that back. Everything, this is nice and tight. This is nice, working. My lower back is working. Shoulders down. I have to remind myself all the time, keep those shoulders down. Ooh, left leg, getting some shakes in there. Shake out the shakes. Okay, right side, gotta do it again. Heavy weight, we're gonna pick that up. We're gonna load that other side. Big toe down, outside edge of the foot down. Arch strong, ankle strong, heel off or very lightly on the floor. No pressurizing through the heel. Push that hip back. My right side likes to do the little twist and out. So I really have to focus on this side. Make sure my hip's just going back and it's not twisting anywhere. also likes to come up too high. Likes to kind of get out of the work, and I have to force it to go back. Fix your shoulders, find balance. Use your breath if it's getting too hard. All right, lightweight, 15 pounds, right side. Let's turn this way. Floating up to the pad of the foot. Heel stays light. Everything stays strong. Opening up the knee and the ankle as I push my hip back. Again, I've got to make sure I'm not twisting or pushing up to the side. My hip is just going back. It's like somebody's got a string kind of through the front here, if you can think of that, through here, pulling right straight back as we do this. Right side is starting to get the shakes ready. You didn't even do the body weight yet. If you need to keep the heel down on whatever side, just make sure you don't get too wobbly. You can do that. Right side body weight. Plant the foot into that. Drop in, get that hip back, find the glute. You need to like work to find out where that glute is before you get into this. So if I'm this side, I usually do to work it a little bit before I find the right spot because it doesn't like to be in it. And we're just gonna wrap it out. Again, forgot to mention at the beginning of this, but as I do this, everything up front kind of stays nice and secure. I'm not engaging my abs, but I'm making sure everything stays kind of girdled in a little bit, if you will. So do this. Right side shakes right from the calf to the hamstring to the glute. Breathe in. All right. Quick water break. Okay, that was 12 minutes. Got a 12-minute upper body drop in. So I'm going to start with the 15s. I'm going to get into this kind of squat position and we're going to row alternately. So I'm just going to row here. Yeah, a little easier just to pick it up. So as I do this, I'm still making sure I'm pressurized to the ball of my foot. I'm not pushing through my heel. I'm making sure my hips go back. And I make a nice twist in my upper body as I come up. I'm not staying very rigid and rowing because your body moves all together. So doing a twist really works a lot of those muscles all together. Oops, hit my knee there. Okay, same move. Down to 10 pounds. Just gonna plant your feet. It's gonna be a little bit wider, I think, than like hip width, just so that we can get those weights in between. We really wanna make sure we're sinking back in those hips. We're not driving through the heel, we're staying on the pad of the foot, and we're just gonna pull through each side here. If you really need to focus, make sure you're using your lat here to pull, and then everything else just works. Again, finding your breath in this is really helpful when things start to get tough. This is, I think, harder to keep in this squat than anything, especially after that drop in with the legs. Again, as you're here, make sure you're nice and tight here. You're not pushing anything up down here. You're not pushing. We're keeping everything nice and girdled in. Okay, I got some little fibers, 5-pounders. I'll do this here, just a quick rip it out. If I had the music pumping, I'd probably do this to the music. Without the music pumping, you can't hear me talk. So we're just gonna rep this motion out. So you see I twist as I come up. Each row, it's a little bit of a twist. Kind of, instead of being here, kind of, you can see it's a little bit tighter. You can't really open up the bottom. You're willing to be able to learn to use spiraling the body instead of staying in a static plane. You want to be able to move. My weight kind of shifts from foot to foot, from paddle foot to paddle foot as I do that too. All right, back to the 15s. Do some bicep curls. So I'm gonna stand nice and strong, not too much pressure in the heels. Keep a nice neutral spine, not tucking my hips forward as I do this. And as I do this, I still get that bend as I bring each side up. So we're using our biceps to get our weights up, but we're also using all of our muscles between kind of the lat and everything here to get into that side bend as we do this. Just because we want our spine to be mobile. We don't want our spine to stay straight. We don't want to be here real rigid. I get it's a little harder on doing those bicep curls when they're rigid, but whenever we do other activities throughout the day, we're not doing them in a rigid, strict plane. We're always using the entire body to lift anything. So that's why we train this way. Again, the lighter weight you go, the easier or more reps you can probably get in there. You can just, I guess I could alternate like this. Sometimes having music on to do this is more fun because you can like find the beat, go to it, and then you don't have to like focus on your rhythm because the music does it for you. I'm a music person. I find rhythm. Get those side bend and bicep curl. Again, making sure everything in the abdominals and everything nice, like you're wearing a little girdle, but you're not. Using your muscles to keep everything nice and tight in here. All right, let's go down to those fives. Should be pretty light. Again, strong on the padded foot, big toe down. If you want to find a little bit of squat in this, or just somewhat engage your glutes, your hamstrings somewhere in your lower back, just to add a little extra because these weights are very light. So we're just gonna smash out these bicep curls while in a bit of hip hinge, a little bit, just a little bit, just to engage the lower body while you do this, because this 5 pounds for me is a little bit light, but we're just trying to rep this out here. So I stay nice and strong, get that side bend in, make sure my shoulders are down, make sure everything is just spiraling as we do this. All right, 3 more minutes. Shoulder presses. You grab those 15s. Again, we're gonna stand nice and tall, in our columns, feet are straight, shoulders are back. We're just going to push into those shoulders. Again, you can see I'm side bending. I'm using all of my upper body kind of to do this. It's not a strict that most people will do in a gym to try and really isolate the shoulders. We want to use all of our muscles that we need to do this, because that's how we move through the day. We use all the muscles. So side bend, making sure that girdle area stays nice and tight. Working the abs without working the abs. Right, 10 pounds. Same thing. See, stay nice, neutral spine. Hips are behind my rib cage. Pushing through the ball of my feet. And we're going side to side. Make sure you're breathing. Make sure you're not pushing your hips forward. We keeping the hips back behind the ribcage. Staying more on the pad of the foot, not the heel of the foot. And keeping the lower back engaged, using those obliques a bit to push forward, push up. Get those side bends and those shoulders are burning. All right, down to the fives. Last minute here, folks. Make it count. Find the beat of the music if you got music playing. I can have some low stuff in the background, but just wrap it out. If you want more of a burn, keep one side up as you bring the other side down. That is going to burn those shoulders out. Again, still trying to side bend, still trying to make sure my hips stay back. A little more challenging when you keep one arm up. I want to stay strong on my backside. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be compressing my spine. So, my shoulders are burning. So I'm just going to wrap this out. Lower back is working. Anybody cares to know? Push it, almost done. Rip it out, rip it out. Did I miss something? That should have been 24. I totally missed something. I don't know what. 2 more. Well, that's all we're doing. I guess it was 22 rounds. My brain's not functioning at the moment. So